that dominates cable news, the O'Reilly Factor.
Thanks for staying with us. Bill O'Reilly in the Unresolved Problem segment tonight, digesting a rather radical view of the world. George Galloway is a member of the British Parliament, an outspoken supporter of Saddam Hussein, of all people. He also believes the USA brought 9/11 on itself. Since there's little to be gained from debating Mr. Galloway, no minds will be changed. I instead would like to know how he's arrived at his conclusions. He's promoting a new book called Mr. Galloway Goes to Washington, The Brit Who Set Congress Straight About Iraq. He joins us now from Chicago. Okay, let's go back to the first Gulf War. Did Saddam have a right to invade Kuwait?
No, and both of the conclusions you've just attributed to me are false. I'm not a supporter of Saddam Hussein, far less an outspoken one.
All right,
and I don't think that America brought 9/11 upon itself. You obviously haven't read the book that you want to talk about.
No, I've skimmed through the book, and I have some quotes here.
Yeah.
This is in 1994 in a speech you made in Baghdad, okay? And you correct me if I'm wrong.
I will.
I'm going to quote from the speech.
I will.
You're talking in front of Saddam. Your Excellency, Mr. President, I greet you in the name of many thousands of people in Britain who stood against the tide and opposed the war and aggression against Iraq.
Yeah. What does that mean? I was against Saddam's aggression against Kuwait, and I was against America's aggression against Iraq.
All right, so
I'm against war. I'm against war.
Okay, Mr. Galloway, just relax.
Yeah.
All right, so you're against. You said Saddam shouldn't have invaded Kuwait, but you're against removing him by force. Okay. Then how would Saddam be removed from Kuwait if not by force?
Well, today's a very bad day for that point of view, because North Korea has just been disarmed by jaw. North Korea has just responded to a patient...
And you believe North Korea will disarm? You believe that they'll do what they say they'll do?
Well, it would appear the United States government does, and I don't think...
Well, I don't know about that. But let's get back. Let's not deflect the issue. Let's go back to Kuwait, because I want to walk through. No, you're deflecting the issue. If Saddam invades Kuwait, a sovereign country, and the United States and Britain and other countries come to Kuwait's aid and stop the murder and raping, as we know took place there, I don't know how you could criticize the United States and say to Saddam, I greet you in the name of many thousands of people who stood against the tide and opposed the war and aggression against Iraq. See, this to me is, I don't understand.
Well, let me help you understand it. Iraq was bombed back into the Stone Age in 1991. Its entire infrastructure was destroyed. Its public sewage and water systems were destroyed. And then sanctions were put upon it that led to the death of 1 million Iraqi children. That's an act of aggression. Saddam's act of aggression didn't last very long, but the act of aggression which followed it lasted a long time and killed a lot of people and led us into the quagmire that we're now in Iraq.
Do you believe that Israel has a right to exist?
Sure, it exists irrespective of my point of view. It's a military superpower. It's always going to exist. It's got.
Do you believe it has a right to exist?
Well, every country that exists, by definition, has a right to exist, or it wouldn't exist. But let's not dance on the end of that needle. The point is, America, as the only superpower in the world, underwrites a nuclear-armed superpower in the Middle East called Israel. It's always going to exist. This is a...
Would you rather see America walk away from Israel entirely?
Well, I think America should strike a more balanced policy in the Middle East, and if it did, it wouldn't be in the mess in the Arab world that it's in.
Was the USA wrong in removing the Taliban?
Well, who put the Taliban in power? You see, you have to go back. You and I are both...
You know how vagaries of history are. Yeah. We supported Taliban against the Soviet Union, which invaded their country. But after 9/11, was the USA wrong in removing the Taliban?
Yeah, but don't call it a vagary of history, because we're only talking about the 1980s. Now, you and I are both Irishmen. In fact, my mother's name's O'Reilly, so you and I might be cousins. The reality is that the Taliban and these so-called mujahideen, which I called barbarians at the time that your country was supporting them, they were imposed upon the people of Afghanistan by Western policy.
Okay, but this question is simple. Was the USA wrong in removing the Taliban after 9/11? We could talk history all day long. Well, yes or no?
No, I wish it were simple. If life were simple...
Say it was simple. I'm asking your opinion. Were we wrong in removing the Taliban after 9/11?
Well, if it were as simple as that, then we'd be talking about a very rosy picture.
I'm going to write down you don't want to answer that question.
No, because it's not yes or no. Certainly not.
It is.
No, it's not a yes or no question.
Were we wrong in removing the Taliban?
It's not a yes or no question.
Or no?
It's not a yes or no question.
They're out of there now. They had elections, successful
What do
elections
you mean they're out
yesterday.
of there now? You've obviously not been following the news.
Well, maybe
They're
you
not
haven't
out of
either.
there.
Had a
They're not out
successful
of there.
election. They have a successful election in
ruling?
Afghanistan
They
yesterday.
didn't have a successful election.
Sure they did. It was a democratic election, and 10% of the candidates were women, sir.
Listen. Well, don't talk to me about women in Afghanistan, because the period that you were backing the Taliban, there were lots of women in politics and in universities.
I didn't have anything to do with it.
And in colleges.
Were the Al-Qaeda bombings in London justified?
Well, I'm almost insulted that you can ask such a question. Not only did I denounce them as an act of mass murder, I did it from the scene, which is in my own constituency.
Good. So you no good Al-Qaeda, they're not to...
All Al-Qaeda explosions are obscene acts of mass murder.
Well, I think we just got some common ground, and your mother would be very proud.
Bin Laden's nothing to do with me.
Is it okay for Iran to have nuclear weapons?
Well, this is a very interesting question. Why is Israel allowed to have nuclear weapons but not Iran?
Why? To protect themselves. Israel has not shown any predilection to spread jihad throughout the world. I don't see any Jewish jihadists or suicide bombers. Do you?
Did you mean by that Israel hasn't attacked any countries around it?
I meant exactly what I said. There's no Jewish jihad to impose their religion on anyone else, as there is in the Muslim world.
Iran,
are you okay with Iran having nuclear weapons?
Well, actually, they don't have nuclear weapons.
Are you okay with them having?
No, I'm against all nuclear weapons.
All right, good. All right, Mr. Galloway, I think we covered a lot of ground here. Is your mother still alive, sir?
Yes, she is.
Please give her my best.
I will do.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
Right back.